So we played our first season in Dallas in 2021, and we were preparing to return for our second season when the Texas state legislature passed a whole slate of controversial laws, banning certain topics from being taught in school, some things around voter suppression, abortion access. And so we had a moment, I chair the player executive committee, and we had a moment where we had to discuss, do we want to return? Or do we want to boycott? What's going to be the most effective thing for us? What's going to be safe for our athletes? We're a women's sports league. We need to make sure that our athletes have access to medical care if necessary. There were laws around allowing access to guns without a permit. We had to know if we could ban guns from our venue. And so we talked about it, and obviously there were people with really strong feelings. And one of the things that was important to us was, I had read Stacey Abrams' op-ed in after the Major League Baseball left Georgia for the All-Star game. They decided to boycott Georgia, I think also around voter suppression issues, unfortunately. And in her op-ed, she essentially had said, boycotts can be great. They can also hurt the very people that you're trying to help. All of the small businesses that are making money off of, the game being there, et cetera. And so it was really important to us to get some input from the people who were actually on the ground, actually doing the work in Dallas, in Texas. So we connected with some of the groups down there and ended up deciding that we could actually do more by staying than leaving. And so in our case, boycotting was not going to be as effective. So we ended up going there, and we formed kind of a whole working group around with athletes from all of our sports and our staff around what are we going to do when we show up? How do we use our voices in that space in a way that's effective? And I think what was cool about what we ended up with was, rather than come in protest and kind of anger around these laws, and there was plenty of anger to go around, we decided to come in celebration of our values. And so we created kind of space in our arena for the things that mattered to us and things that we cared about. So we had a bookstore with books that had been chosen from our athletes that were all by authors with marginalized voices. And we had a wall dedicated to women from history who had inspired our athletes, and a voter registration booth at all of our matches. And so that arena became not only a space that we played in, but the celebration of everything that we cared about, and some of which was in opposition to those laws that have been passed, but kind of really in a positive way. And so to see that kind of come into fruition, and to be sitting there signing autographs and then watching little girls walk up to a wall and read about Ida B. Wells or 180 Craft or all of these women who had fought segregation and had created Title IX and all of that. I think for me, to do that in the middle of Texas in that moment and to bring these women there, that was super impactful.